Hello! Today we are popping back to the 80s for our Power Up theme, a time when things were brighter, fancier, and radical to the max. PowerPoint launched in the 80s, but its features have continued to expand and develop with new demands. In honor of its initial launch, we've themed the training around the 80s to supply you with the energy and positive vibes for having the energy to help those who feel like they've fallen and can't get up. I'm Amanda Pritchard, and by the power of Grayskull, I have the radical opportunity to work in the Office of Information Technology. Today, I'm supported by my bodacious team of student workers who are my top guns and have worked so hard to support this training effort. Thank you, Megalite and Soy, for being part of my never-ending story. We have a totally awesome demo today to pump you up into everything PowerPoint has to offer. This radical program takes the guesswork out of designing and planning. The power is yours. Let's get physical. Get ready to flex those mental muscles. Today, we will make you stretch like Gumby because flexible people never get bent out of shape. We'll show you everything live and you can follow along because practice makes progress. And don't worry, today's session is being recorded. I just think I need to start this and then we can send out a copy of the recording afterwards. Let me find where this goes. There, we're recording. Take a moment to view our post in the chat. Like it so that we know you can interact. We've also posted 3 lucky winners who pre-registered that have been randomly selected to win a small prize. Check and see if you're one. A few rad tips about Teams Live. You can veg knowing we cannot see you. Your parachute pants and your fabulous blue eyeshadow on camera. Don't see it. But don't spaz. You can chat with us using the live event Q&A feature on the far right. Select the icon with the question mark and make sure to reach out with us with your comments. Also, just like your home VCR, should you need to pause or rewind at any time to review what I'm presenting, hover over my video feed. You'll see a line at the bottom of the screen. You can move backwards in time for an excellent adventure. Many presenters, especially during unprecedented times like today, rely on totally tubular, visually appealing presentations to engage audience members on the other side of the screen. PowerPoint has been an easy-to-use presentation tool that's built to convey the speaker's messages using visually attractive slides, most of which now can be created using AI features. But knowing about it, as if. Some of these features remain completely unknown. About 23% of those who registered said they felt familiar with PowerPoint. Not very many. Today, I will give you the 411 on powering up your PowerPoint. So, do you enjoy spending hours designing and editing the layout of your presentation? Just say so. PowerPoint eliminates the burden for people who stress over the designing aspects. You do not have to be a graphic designer to create an aesthetically pleasing and impactful presentation. So, who are you going to call for help in creating slides? Today, I want to talk about the AI behind the scenes of PowerPoint. This intelligent agent is what PowerPoint calls Designer. The Designer offers millions of slide templates to end users that are looking for those visually pleasing designs that meet all speakers' messages. They have reached over 1 billion templates, all pre-designed and ready to use. So you don't have to worry about choosing from the same limited choices. Designer's AI chooses the most suitable layout for your particular context, intelligently crops images, and automatically recommends relevant figures. It will help you transform and roll out your slides. In fact, today's slides have been recommended by Designer to match our presentation theme. This slide shows the step-by-step of how to use Designer. Since we already have our presentation prepared, we'll use the template we've already designed, but I did want to walk you through and share with you how you would start from the beginning. To use Designer, you want to open up PowerPoint in a web browser. you can start by searching for office.com. Everything that we will be showing will be from the web browser today, because by showing it to you in this platform, we can ensure that we all have access to the same tools and be on the same version. To access PowerPoint, you go to office.com, and from the left side of the screen, click on the Apps button. You'll see PowerPoint listed as an icon in the far left. It's the red circle with the letter P. To start from scratch, you'll want to select a blank presentation in PowerPoint. When you click on the blank presentation, open, you'll see a new presentation for you. Navigate to the Design tab, then click the Designer icon. After you go to the Design tab and click on that small icon, it looks like a small paintbrush. Perfect. You'll see the designer options, and they're going to open in the far right panel. PowerPoint will intuitively suggest content. So if you want to be closer to the theme of your talk, you can enter your title or keywords to assist with the search. So we are going to search for 1980. So we'll type that in the title, and you'll see it takes just a moment for designer to think through and pull up suggestions on that right panel. It's loading right now, but it's got some really key, fun, engaging content for you on that right side. So that is how you can pick a basic template out of the 1 billion ones that are already created there for you. So we're going to jump back to the one that we built for us today, since we've already created that. But that's how you would start from scratch in order to use Designer. So let's turn Designer on for our current presentation. Designer will allow you to present your content in a myriad of ways. You can see the options. Let's go ahead and turn Designer on by clicking the little paintbrush. Beautiful. Excellent. As that's loading, we're going to see the different options in the far right as a preview of suggested layouts for our current slide. To use any of these layouts, you simply pick your favorite by clicking on it. It changes immediately and it will appear on your slide. All of the designs created are accessibility friendly, so you don't have to worry if your design is appropriate for all levels. The provided templates in PowerPoint are pre-approved for screen readers, and other accessibility devices can be easily navigated by those who might need the additional assistance to view content. All it takes is knowing how to add your design. And after all, knowing is half the battle. Next, let's look at adding images. Another question we received is how you add pictures. With Designer open, you're able to navigate to the far right panel and scroll to the very bottom of the page. Designer will make suggestions based on your content, or you can search for specific images online. Let's look for an image that goes with our design by searching for images. Now let's look for neon swirls. You can see the smart search results will appear in just a moment as it's searching the internet to find any content that best suits what you've searched for. To add, you simply select the image of your preference by clicking on it. Then you can adjust the layout by reviewing the suggestions on the side panel. You can select your favorite layout and the changes will be made to your presentation instantly. If you already have an image prepared, one saved on your desktop, and you want to use that specific image, you can go to the top ribbon and you can select Insert and select Picture. But since we already have ours developed, we'll move on next to look at what it looks like to transition in between slides. If you want to transition your slides, which is how they change when they enter and exit on screen, you can apply transitions from the very top ribbon by selecting how you want your slides to move, and you can set the length of time it takes to transition. One word of warning though, people can be sensitive to moving or flashing images. So because of this, animation should be kept to a minimum. Strobing or rapidly moving images should be avoided, as this can make certain viewers struggle to follow along. So let's go ahead and look at a way to ensure that your gnarly slides are accessible to everyone. The designer feature that I've used for today's presentation can help those with visual impairments by allowing for easy formatting. Only about 20% of those registered today were aware of the alt text feature. So I want to be sure and clearly explain it. This text helps screen reading tools describe images to visually impaired readers. They're also called alt tags or alt descriptions. Alt text is the written copy that appears in place of an image on a web page. That's in case the image fails to load on a user's screen. So to add the alt text, what we just did is right click on the image and click Edit Alt Text. Then on the very side pop-up, on the right side of your screen, you'll see the different options of what alt text to put in place, or you can edit it with your own version of whatever you want to describe the image as. This is a simple way to ensure everyone can view your content. With your pictures in place and your slides designed, you're going to want to make note of your content. Next, let's look at how to present with notes. You don't have to phone home to remember your talking points. If you want your presentation to have reminders to yourself as your major talking points on each slide, you can simply type in notes that are available to you. It helps serve as a guide while you're presenting. They will not be available to the general audience. It's simply to help ensure you hit all your talking points. From an accessibility standpoint, if you're sending out your slides later, it can be a best practice to put your full presentation in the notes section if transcripts are not available. That way the audience can read along while reviewing your slides. To set your notes, click on View from the taskbar, and then on the top to select Notes. You'll see that your notes appear at the bottom of the screen. Because we're using PowerPoint web version, the presentation and the notes are automatically saved to your OneDrive. You can also save it into Teams so that you can share. Okay, everyone, eyes on me because this is new and we've received several questions. Presentations in OneDrive show up differently in Teams meetings and will show your notes. If you have PowerPoint saved on your desktop, you will not be able to see notes in a Teams meeting. So let's hide our notes now and look next at what your presentation can look like in a Teams meeting. So many of you wanted to know how to present without your presentation taking over your entire screen. You can feel lost when you can't see your screen in your Teams meeting. It's all right, because you're saved by the bell. Selecting the web version of PowerPoint allows you this special preview shown in this slide. It's another reason we're highlighting the presentation using the web version. This slide shows you how you can view notes when presenting in a Teams meeting. It also lets you see a preview of your slide deck at the bottom panel. You can see the notes preview on the right side of my main slide. It's next to the orange dot. This is a simple trick of using notes can help ensure your presentation is as powerful as you are. Next, let's look at how to add video. So oftentimes to add some emphasis to your presentation or provide a visual aid, you want to embed a video or an audio file. To do so, you can create a new slide on that left panel, which we've done with just this insert video slide. So now that it's created, you can see there's the little option on the slide that looks like a square with a small globe. You can select that and paste in a link of wherever you already have your video saved. You can paste that in and then select Insert. It's going to load your video for you after you hit Insert onto your slide, or it's going to give you a hard time. Either way, But it'll load it up in there. And then you can see it appearing on your screen. And on your far right panel, using that designer feature, if you want to change the look and the feel of how it's presented, you can see that on the right panel as well. Designer can determine how your video best fits into your presentation. Always be sure your sound is on in your video and you've selected it to be full screen. So we're going to go ahead and move our slides to full screen now and get a preview of the video that we've embedded in this next slide. You can personalize your team's account to reflect your profile picture. In the upper right corner, select your initials. Then, from the drop-down, select Change Picture. Upload the photo of your choice. Once selected, hit the Save button. You may then select Close and notice the change is made immediately. So that's just a quick glimpse of what it looks like to embed a video within your PowerPoint. We've included the instructions on this slide, and we will be sending out this entire slide deck after the presentation. So in case you're trying to follow along, you'll be able to review all of these slides and rewatch our recording. So let's see here. So next we're going to look at continuing on. If you already have a video or audio file saved, you can add it also by selecting the Insert option at the top of your ribbon. So you can select inserting whether you want audio or video and insert the link or upload the audio file. This is just another alternative to add video or audio. Both ways will have your video saved and linked to your presentation. Linking to a video that's hosted online generally improves the performance of that video during your presentation. So if the video is saved on your desktop, you may consider uploading it to OneDrive or to Teams so that it can be accessed on the web. This also helps if you want to email your slides out after your presentation. So now that you have your pictures and your slides designed, the next step would be to present. So do you ever struggle with what to say in a presentation? Or do you want to know how fast to speak? Or do you just need time to practice so that you feel confident? Well, say hello to my little friend, the Presenter Coach. Presenter Coach is an artificial intelligence system that captures the way you speak while rehearsing. It helps measure 3 components of your speech. So number 1, it measures your pace. You're going to get feedback when you use Presenter Coach with different tips like try speaking a little bit slower, or it may give you alternative suggestions if you have sensitive phrases in your presentation. It helps measure your cadence to confirm that you're speaking at a speed that people can understand. It also detects filler words. So if you were talking and presenting and had several pauses saying, basically, it will warn you of those fillers and it will help encourage you to try to remove them. It can even offer more inclusive language to be sure that you're being sensitive to cultural or other differences. The final component it looks for is originality. So the coach can detect when you're just reading your points off your slides, if the content on the slides matches your voice. This helps to ensure that your presentation is fresh and that you're thoroughly explaining all of your content that you have presenting. So now let's take a look at how to actually activate the Presenter Coach. Presenter Coach is available through the web version of PowerPoint. So that's another reason that we're showing you the web version, because we want to make sure everyone has consistency across platforms. You can vary by what version of PowerPoint you have downloaded on your personal computer or your work computer. So we're focusing on web to make sure it's an equal playing field for everybody. So Presenter Coach right now is on web. In the PowerPoint web application, you can go to the Slideshow tab and select the Rehearse with Coach option. It will make your slides full screen and offer a Start Rehearsing button that you can push when you're ready to begin. So you can see the Start Rehearsing button on that bottom right. It's the big red button. So it's pulling up your slides so that you can see it and that you can follow along just as if you were giving the actual presentation. You would click Get Started to begin your recording. So PowerPoint then uses your microphone on whatever device you have, and it will capture and scan your voice. You begin presenting and speaking into the microphone, and it will pop up with little helper tips that appear in that bottom right corner of your screen. It'll encourage you to keep going, tell you to slow down, or possibly even to speed up. The coach will give you on-screen guidance so that as you're practicing, you can be sure to be doing your best even then. When you're done, you would exit the full screen view. And next, you would receive an overall report with the needed improvements at the end of your presentation. So let's look at that next there. So you can see here a screenshot of the feedback it provided me when I was rehearsing the previous slide. I just did a quick recording. So in the summary, it tells you the time that you spent. It lets you know if you have any fillers, and it may tell you that you have a monotone voice. So it gives you all of that feedback instantaneously. I did want to make a note that the rehearsal report disappears when you close it, and it's not saved anywhere. So it's a best practice that you take a screenshot before you close it if you're wanting to remember the advice that it gives you so that you can prepare for your presentation. Now that you've practiced, you're ready for the next step, which is to share with your team. So don't feel backed in a corner when you're waiting for a teammate's feedback. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Share your individual slides with your team and get their perspective and get their feedback. Sometimes you only need to share that one specific slide, and sending it via email or creating a whole separate file can be cumbersome to send just that one slide. So now, exclusively in PowerPoint for the web, you can share a deck with a link to a specific slide faster than you can say, "Great Scott." The new feature lets you share a single slide by linking straight to it. To do so, you need to right-click the thumbnail in the left side panel. Click the link to this slide and copy that link into an email. You can set the permissions also with that link to determine if you want them to be able to make edits or who all you want to send it to. You can type in an email address directly and send it to that person for feedback, or you can send it to multiple people on your team. But that would allow you to send a single slide and to grant you that feedback. So the person that's trying to view and review and give input on your slides doesn't have to scroll through that entire PowerPoint presentation to find the single slide that you're referencing. It's a quick, easy way to get the back and forth that you need to. So next, let's take a little look at some special features that you can do in PowerPoint that you may not be aware of. Sometimes it's really useful to show your audience the righteous information that you've gotten from the internet. In fact, many speakers rely on several sources of information by embedding those rad links within their slides. So to embed a website, a speaker or presenter can embed a website by hovering over your mouse. You're hovering your mouse over a word or an image on the slide that you want to hyperlink. Click on the right, and then you can go to hyperlink. You can also, there we go. I believe you can also do it from Insert in Hyperlink. You may not have this on the web, so I'll need to double check that. But you can, and oh, I think it's also because, sorry, we didn't practice this portion. I think it's also because these are designer. If it's a picture or a text box that you add, you'll be able to right click and paste in the URL of whatever site you're directing to. So in our last session on OneNote, we went over some really cool drawing features. A lot of people don't know that you can use that tool in PowerPoint as well. It's called inking, and inking is a way that you're able to draw on your screen in case you want to draw attention to anything. So it's a great tool anytime you're trying to draw or demonstrate. You simply go to the draw section on the toolbar and you choose a pen of your choice and a color of your choice. And you click on the little down arrow in the corner to be able to select your pen. And after you've chosen the thickness, you can go ahead and draw on your slide. So if you're trying to have a presentation and you're drawing attention to something or wanted to circle something on your slide, you're able to do that using the inking feature. If you're not presenting live, you can still use it as a means of showing your fantabulous information while you record. So we'll show you recording in just a little while, but the next thing that we want to show you is that you can morph your slide. PowerPoint can animate for you. Morph lets you change smoothly from one image to another through small, gradual steps using computer animation techniques. To show you how the morph transition can be used to create a dramatic effect, I've embedded an example video from Microsoft. So let's go ahead and move our slide to full screen and move the video to full screen so that you can watch and see it in action. I know you're stoked to use these features in a presentation, which brings me to my next point, learning how to record your presentations within PowerPoint. You can record your voice over slides, but just note that to record, you are going to need to transition to the desktop app. So we're going to show you this in the desktop app as well so that you can customize your settings in order to enable recording. So before you start recording your presentation, we just have to adjust a few settings to permit it to record you. First, you're going to want to go to your File tab, and you're going to click on Options. Then you'll want to click on Customized Ribbon and go straight to the box where it says Customize the ribbon and choose all tabs from the drop-in. Scroll all the way down to find the recording box. Tick that box and hit OK to set up this RAD feature. Don't worry, we do have this recorded so that you'll be able to find it as well. You can see that there's a lot of options in PowerPoint to set up, and it does have to be activated before you'll see it on yours. So let's go ahead and start a recording of our slides. So you want to go to the slideshow tab and click on record slideshow and choose where you want to start recording from. For our demo, we'll start from slide 17, which is this slide right here. And when you're ready, you can select the red record in the upper left-hand corner of the screen and start speaking. You'll see that this presents a whole nother way of recording your slides and gives you a little bit more tools and functionality within the presentation itself. So we've started the recording. You can pause at any time if you need to take a break, rethink about what your statements are going to be, and you can always re-record. You'll notice that you'll want to have all of your transitions or any animations happen before you hit record, and that way you can have your recording show that entire slide. So this recording also records your drawings during the presentation. So we've drawn a little bit on that screen. So if you were trying to present to a class or in a meeting and have that information circled or highlighted, you would be able to draw and make note of all of those features in order to accentuate anything that you're trying to communicate. If you make a mistake and you need to re-record, you can go up into the section to clear your recordings. You can clear a portion or clear all of the changes that you've made. After everything is done and you've recorded it the way you want, you can navigate back to your main presentation. When you're back at your main presentation, you'll see, and you exit out of the recording, you'll see at the bottom right, a new icon will appear on your slide. It looks like a little audio file. That's showing you that that slide has been recorded and you can have access to it. You are able to save your presentation just as a regular PowerPoint file by just selecting to save. And that way, when somebody accesses your recording, it will automatically play for them when they start it. You can also share your recorded presentation by exporting it as an MP4 video. To do this, you want to navigate to the File tab and then select Export. From there, you'll select the Create a Video, and you can upload that video once you've exported it. You can upload it to Stream or to OneDrive, just like you would do any other Teams meeting recording, and be able to share it there with your audience. So next, let's move back to our web app and out of the desktop app, because I want to take a moment to look at the dictate feature. You don't have to be wigging out and typing all your notes. You don't have to write out all of your slides or notes. You can create your own mixtape for all your favorite hits, or you can dictate your talking points so that you have everything in order for you. PowerPoint can write it, you just have to speak it. All you have to do that is to get to the dictate option in PowerPoint. So let's see here. It will appear as a small microphone, and it's in that upper right corner that we're highlighting right now. When you select that feature, it will transcribe what you're saying, and it can translate it, if you hit the little arrow key down, into a different language. That's just another way to ensure your information is getting out to the largest audience possible. We're not going to do it now, only because it's a little bit distracting to see it when I'm actually presenting. But should you ever need to record and share a different language, that feature is available for you, and it will do it automatically as you're presenting. So all of these features that we're showing you help to ensure that your presentation is accessible for everyone. So we want to go ahead and move next and check to be sure our presentation does meet accessibility standards. For those of you with learning differences or need assistance with accessibility, we are here for you. Just like other Microsoft products, PowerPoint Accessibility assists you with any of the content that you need help reading or editing. So we've touched on several of those features throughout this entire presentation. If you already have a presentation developed and are concerned with accessibility, you can check to ensure that everyone has access and can get through the highway to the danger zone. If you are interested in checking that, I want to show you how you can do that with just one click. If you navigate on the top banner to the review button, and then you can select the check accessibility feature, it's going to pull up options in that far right panel. So we've left some that need to be worked on so that you can see what it's like if you do have things that need to be improved upon within your presentation to make it accessible. This feature will give you a drop-down list and let you know exactly which slides need to be edited to ensure that it's accessible. You can review any of these issues within your presentation and make the edits there. And you're able to look and take those recommended actions. So you can pull up any PowerPoint that you've already created and do an accessibility check. And I did see one question in the chat that was asking if they already have a presentation made and say you have it saved on your desktop. Yes, you are able to save that presentation on OneDrive. You are able to make it available in the web app. So you don't have to start from scratch and you don't have to create a bunch of new presentations using the web app. You simply upload it there and you will be able to view it on the web and use the features that we've shared with you so that you can make any changes that you would like to your presentation. So we're showing you this accessibility checker so that if you do find that there are issues within your presentation, you can quickly get rid of those by making those edits immediately. Comments to be sure that we're going to address everything. Elizabeth asked if the recordings that we make in PowerPoint, will those be viewable to the audience via the web or only in the desktop app? So if you create it on the web, it's recommended to go ahead and send that version out via the web. So when you share this, you're able to share your PowerPoint and it will create a link for you. If you navigate to that top banner, there's an icon that says share. And from that option, you're able to select that and you're able to share a link to your presentation. So it's a little bit different mentality of sending old files as attachments. Here, you're able to have a hyperlink of your presentation and share that out to anybody that you want to view along, or if you have the recording, then they're able to access that recording because it's on the link. And they don't have to have PowerPoint installed on their computer to be able to view your presentation. So Elizabeth, I hope that helped answer that question. I'm checking to see if there was any others. The only other thing that I wanted to touch on real quick, if we can navigate to the top right where it says present, I want to call your attention. This is something that we have shown in the past, and I wasn't sure if we had time, so we're going to talk about it just briefly. But PowerPoint Live is a feature. If you hover over that caret on the far right next to present, you'll see a little drop down and it will tell you the different ways that you can present. You'll notice that there's one option that says present live. I'm just going to talk about that briefly so that you're aware of this additional feature to do in a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint Live allows you to present with very few interruptions, and you can reach a large audience. So you do have to select, after your PowerPoints are developed, you do have to select Present Live. Everyone in UTD is able to access this. We all have subscriptions to Microsoft Office and Office Online. So when you do present live, you would want to, let's go ahead and check that. You'll want to check your audience settings depending on who you're presenting to. So let's select Present Live for just a moment so that we can see what that looks like. When you select Present Live, it's going to create a QR code for you. That QR code is available for your guests. Let's go ahead and hit one over. Your guest would be able to scan that QR code. Here it comes. Here it comes. That QR code, and it tell you in an instant how many people have joined your live session. What makes this feature a bit fun is that they can scan this QR code, and from their phone or from this website, you can see the link that says join the session. Using either one of those tools, they're able to follow along and receive a live transcription of your presentation. They're also able to respond with emojis and give you the live feedback. Well, one of the struggles that we have with presenting like this is that you can't see your audience. You have a harder time making that connection. So PowerPoint Live allows you the opportunity to have that connection. Okay, we'll go ahead and exit out of there, but I did want to call your attention to it just in case it's your first time seeing that. So we'll move on to our final slide here. We thank you so much for attending. And on our next slide, we want to just thank you for coming and request that whether you thought today's session was totally boss or bogus, we want to hear from you. We've tried hard to be sure these trainings are not lame, and we want to keep it legit. So I need all of you out there to hash out your thoughts and be able to share it with us. Just like you can with PowerPoint Live, you can scan the QR code by hovering over it with your phone's camera. You don't have to have a QR reader to scan a QR code. Just open it up as if you're taking a picture, and you'll be able to scan that image, and it'll pull up a survey for you on your phone. So I do have a few dope prizes to give out to random entries as a way of sharing my appreciation for you taking the time to provide your thoughts. Remember, there is nothing lame about reaching out when you need help. OIT Help Desk is here to support your technical needs. From whether you're searching our knowledge base articles to live chatting with an employee through our website, you can connect with us via our site at oit.utdallas.edu. If there's anything that you need, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help. So we'll go ahead and move to full screen on our final closing video. And while you're completing that survey, we have a fresh video that merges our love of robots, AI, and music. For now, I have to bounce, but don't worry, I'll be back in future demos, and I hope to catch you there. Remember, you are fantabulous. Party on.